I'm Rachel, and you're listening to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. Hello, everyone. Thank you for continuing to listen to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. It is your host, Rachel Main, on this beautiful Saturday here in Michigan. And I have another wonderful guest on with us today. Something that when you saw the title of this episode, you might thought, wow, this is a little bit out of the box. Or if you're a Gen Zer, maybe a little out of pocket. Just learned that phrase recently from my sister. And I felt the same way when I saw this email come through for Trina to be a possible guest on the show. I thought, wow, how is this related? How can we spin this to be related to sexual health and wellness? And to my surprise, it is. So let me tell you a little bit about our guest, Trina. Trina is the founder and CEO of Primal Life Organics and a registered nurse with a master's degree in anesthesia. Trina disrupted the dental and beauty industries and exposes how oral health is connected to our internal health. She exposed the hyper-toxic personal care products poisoning us by Big Dental and Big Cosmo. She started her natural dental and skincare company, Primal Life Organics, in 2008 and puts her nurse's care into every product that she makes. Trina was actually so gracious and actually gifted me an entire set of some of her products. I got a teeth whitening set, a sonic toothbrush, and all these whitening pastes and so many more things. And there's 3 different boxes that I received for her, retailing over $1,000. And she gifted it to me for free just for letting her be a guest on this podcast. So I'm very, very grateful for that. And we'll make sure to link those products for you as well in the show notes. So a little bit more about Trina. She is a multi-million-dollar entrepreneur and the best-selling author of Beauty's Direct Secret. She's made the Incorporated 5,000 list for 6 years and has been featured in Dr. Oz, Paleo Magazine, CBS, NBC, Fox affiliates, and on 100 podcasts worldwide. Wow. We definitely have a star on with us today. And Trina focuses on creating a movement of clean beauty, better health, and public education. So I'm very excited. I'm just as curious as you are going into this episode today with her to hear how our oral health is going to affect our sexual health, but also from what she tells me, it can also help with your reproductive health. And for women specifically, focusing on your oral health or having certain things going well within your oral health can actually help to achieve easier orgasms. And for men also can link to less risk of erectile dysfunction. So without further ado, let's jump into this episode today with Trina. All right. Welcome, Trina. Thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Hey, Rachel. Thank you for inviting me and mouthing off with me today.
Yes, I love that. That's one of your taglines, mouthing off. I think that fits me very perfectly. So as I was saying, when I was recording your bio, when this email came through to have you on the show, I was like, how is this related to sexual health and wellness? And so I'm really excited to get into the conversation with you today. And first, I want to hear a little bit about you and how because you have a nurse's background and then you got into the dental field and you're really disrupting everything right within this. And so I'd love to hear a little bit about your story and what got you here.
Yeah, sure. I had been making natural skincare products for about 2 or 3 years when my daughter at the age of 2 had a molar pop up that had what looked like a cavity in it. We were brushing her teeth one night and my husband noticed it and he's like, come and look at this. So we took her to the dentist and the dentist said, that's a natural cavity. It happens during the development of the tooth. I didn't even know that could happen. And he said, we're going to put a temporary filling in it, but it'll probably fall out every 2 to 3 months. And every time it falls out, we'll decide if we put another temporary filling in it or if we just pull the tooth. And he said, I fully expect because of the significance of this, that we're going to have to pull the tooth within a year. So as I was leaving the dentist office, in my background, I'm a registered nurse. I have a master's degree in anesthesia, and I knew the connection between oral health and overall health. And I knew the connection between each tooth via a meridian. The meridian is a pathway, a channel, just like used in acupuncture and acupressure. but each tooth is connected to an organ or a group of organs. This development happens because as the baby is developing in utero, a tooth is developing at the same time as an organ or a group of organs. So there's this connection, this pathway. Because of this pathway, a tooth can have a problem, and you might not feel that sensation or any problem with the tooth, but you might end up getting symptoms from the organ or organs that it's connected to. And the opposite is also true. You can have problems with your organs, say your gallbladder, and the tooth that corresponds to that you might have a toothache, or it might be sensitive. And most people don't even think, oh, I wonder if that has to do with the organ instead of the tooth. So I knew about this. And as I was walking out the door, he says, don't worry, Mom. We put a temporary filling in it. Now we just hope for the best. And I thought, oh my God, looking back, I'm so glad he said those words to me, because it really sparked me to go, you know what? I am not going to hope for the best, So I went home and I started doing my research. I'd already been making skincare products, and everything worked so much better than the stuff that's mass produced with a bunch of chemicals and toxins and hormone disruptors and all those things. So I found a dentist from the early 1900s, Dr. Weston A. Price, and I looked at his research and realized that the dentist was right. If I kept using what I was using, we were going to pull that tooth within a year. So I started formulating I called it dirty mouth tooth powder made from clay that is mineral rich and alkaline. And I started brushing her teeth with that. And that tooth ended up falling out naturally at the age of 12. So it lasted 10 full years. And that original filling that was only supposed to last 2 months lasted the lifetime of the tooth as well. It lasted 10 years. Wow. And the tooth had remineralized over that filling to protect it from bacteria, because the bacteria was what was going to kill the tooth. So that was it. I did my job.
Wow. What a story, and so close to home too, with it being your daughter. And I mean, again, it's such a young age, and wow, that's incredible. And kudos to you for like having that gun ho and to go out and create something. You created the solution to the problem that you were facing, which is incredible.
Yeah. And at that time, I just wanted to find something that would help my daughter. Of course, I was making products. I had my company. And I thought, once we noticed that it was working, we were using it, and we noticed that our plaque was going away. My teeth, which had always been sort of sensitive, were no longer sensitive. I had no problems with them. Our dental checkups were getting better. So then I thought, you know what, I'm going to sell this stuff, because everyone needs this. What's on the market out there today is so detrimental to our health, our oral health and overall health. And most people don't even know it. And it's really sad, because the ADA, we feel like we should trust our dentists and we should trust the ADA. And I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that they're not really looking out for your best interest. It's kind of like every other, big agency out there. They're not really looking out for your best interest. So it's better if we do our own research and kind of go back to the way Mother Nature planned everything.
Yeah. And I think in today's world, right, there's such a big shift towards more organic based products, foods, cleaner, I mean, everything. And so the fact that you took this and now you're giving people another option for their oral health, I think that's incredible. And again, just admiring the knowledge that you have behind this already. I feel like I've learned, so much from you. And so if we move into the realm of sexuality, you said that each tooth is associated with something. So, and I know in our talking offline and the emails that I've been getting from you, this can link to like pleasure for women, orgasm for women, possibly for men, erectile dysfunction in men. So tell us a little bit about that. How do our teeth affect these things sexually?
It's interesting because it really relates. It relates to the teeth themselves and the meridians, but more importantly, which most people don't realize, is that your mouth has a plethora of good bacteria. It's supposed to have healthy bacteria. Unfortunately, the dental products on the market, including mouthwash is probably the worst, but regular toothpaste on the market is also detrimental to the healthy bacteria inside the mouth. The alcohol, peroxide, triclosan artificial ingredients, artificial sugars, artificial colors, sodium lauryl sulfate, all of these ingredients kill off not just the bad bacteria, which that's fine, but it destroys your healthy bacteria. What that does for you as a woman or a man, because this works both ways for both men and women, is it prevents your body from being able to make nitric oxide. 50% of the nitric oxide that your body produces is produced from your diet and your mouth and your gut. The other 50% uses enzymatic reactions in your body. What nitric oxide does for you is, a lot of times you hear about nitric oxide with heart health, and it's so important for heart health. Nitric oxide it causes vasodilation, which means it takes the blood vessel from a small diameter to a larger diameter. What that means is you get more blood flow, you get more oxygen. For sexual health, just relate this to, and it's easier to think of for men for erectile dysfunction, but the same pathology is for women. During moments of pleasure, you want an increased blood flow. If you don't have an increase in blood flow, obviously there's less ability for an erection for both men and women. And then pleasure does not follow. This nitric oxide is also extremely important for fertility for women and for pregnancy, all through pregnancy and labor, because that increased blood flow is what you need to support a pregnancy and for fertility for women. So without nitric oxide, 50% of the body's pathway is cut. If you're using mouthwash and commercial products, your body is not able to actually make it. So the pathology of nitric oxide production, when you eat nitrates, and nitrates are found in foods like green leafy vegetables, some meats and fruits have nitrates in them. But nitrates, the bacteria, the healthy bacteria inside the mouth converts nitrates to nitrites. And that happens inside the mouth. And then when you swallow in the gut, the healthy bacteria in the gut converts the nitrites to nitric oxide, which is then absorbed into the body. And then you have your nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is also extremely important for brain health. It's really important for the immune system. And it's also important for your saliva content, because your saliva, the nitric oxide is supposed to be present in the saliva. And that is what will help prevent cavities and gum disease naturally from the body. And if you're not producing enough nitric oxide, of course, your body is going to try and shunt it to the most vital organs, which would be your brain and your heart. Then the rest of your body, like your sexual organs, doesn't get the amount it needs to support health and wellness and pleasure, because the ability to produce it is not there. And the body always will take care of those vital organs before it takes care of the non-essential or non-vital organs.
So yeah, that's a lot of information. That is a lot of helpful information and takeaways that I heard from there. In applying my expertise to this in terms of sexuality, blood flow is what you need to achieve orgasm, right? Whether you're a man or a woman, you're thinking like for the clitoral stimulation, G-spot stimulation, all that, you need that increased blood flow to reach orgasm. So you're as you were just saying, your oral health is very much linked to that blood flow. And the other thing that you mentioned was with your brain development, how oral health is related to that. And for women, this is a conversation that I have so often with women in understanding their desire, is that your brain, man or woman, but your brain is your number one sex organ. So if the brain is not turned on, it's not able to communicate to the sexual organs. And so as you were just stating, then this is all linked together. And so my next question is, okay, so now we have this knowledge, we know that this is a thing. If somebody is to switch over, let's say, to more organic based products and specifically your products that have already been designed specifically with these things in mind, how soon can somebody expect to see some of these changes? Is it one brush and they're good, or is it a couple months? What does that look like?
That's a great question. It actually doesn't take that long. To rebuild the microbiome inside the mouth, it's usually about 3 days to 3 to 7 days, about a week. And you're continuously building that. So I would say over the first 2 to 3 weeks is when you're really rebuilding that healthy microbiome. But you have to keep in mind that every time, if you use mouthwash once, it takes about 3 days to start to establish a healthy, collaboration of good bacteria. So one swish with mouthwash destroys you for almost 3 days. So then if you do it again, or you brush with something that's going to kill everything, you're kind of on that hamster wheel, which is why I usually tell people when you start, I always recommend people starting with my dental detox kit, primarily because it's a kit designed for this purpose, to reset the microbiome inside the mouth. It's a 60-day kit. And I always tell people, don't use any other products, because unbeknownst to the public, most products are not designed to be friendly to your healthy microbiome. So it usually happens pretty quickly. People will notice a change almost instantly. Maybe 1 to 2 times they've brushed, they'll start to notice that their mouth feels fresher. The plaque doesn't feel like it's there. And they're starting to notice that teeth sensitivity is starting to go away. 3 days. And people are like, wow, I can't believe this. And what's interesting is bad breath is the number one sign to us that there's an imbalance in the bacteria. So if you have bad breath, there's only really 2 reasons. It's either because you have an overgrowth of the harmful bacteria, or you're severely dehydrated, which happens sometimes overnight, sometimes, during excessive sweating, when you're working out, sometimes when you're talking a lot, like when we do podcast recordings or speeches, you're not hydrating as much and your mouth starts to get dry. That's normal, but you should not on a daily basis wake up or have bad breath, because that is the signal that there's an overgrowth in that bacteria. It's the bacteria related bad breath, not necessarily the dehydration bad breath that I'm talking about. So getting rid of the commercial type of products that contain those harsh ingredients will help to reset that microbiome. In about 3 days, it will start to build over the course of the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then just supporting it. Of course, you want to cut back on sugar and processed foods. Those are, 2 other killers of healthy, good bacteria, primarily because the bad bacteria feeds off of sugar. The healthy bacteria does not. So if you have, and everyone will have unhealthy bacteria inside the mouth. It's near impossible to only have healthy bacteria just because it's life. But the unhealthy bacteria, if your mouth is more alkaline, which is what my products aim to do, they try to create that alkaline environment inside the mouth. The unhealthy bacteria cannot survive in that. And eating sugar, or, healthier sugars like agaves and honey over, the other types of sugar or artificial sugars, will be much better for your overall health as well as oral health. And when that happens, if you have unhealthy bacteria in the mouth, it's not necessarily going to go rampant, because you've got that alkalinity, which is going to help control the bacteria spread or growth. The other thing that's important, and what's included in the dental detox kit, is also a tongue scraper. Most people have never scraped their tongue, and scraping your tongue, there's that white coating that happens on the tongue. That is the same bacteria that causes the cavities and gum disease. And that creates an environment inside the mouth that keeps the mouth more of that acidic, stale, sour mouth. And that is what that bacteria loves to grow in. So swiping your tongue 2 to 3 times every morning, every night, takes about 3 to 5 seconds. And it will help improve that oral microbiome just by getting rid of the stuff that's causing that bad bacteria anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to ask specifically about some of the things that I saw in the kits that you sent me, and the tongue scraper was one. I've been seeing more and more like people on Instagram, influencers specifically, doing this tongue scraping stuff, and I was always wondering what the deal with that was. And it feels, I've done it a few times, and it feels fun, almost like it's a little bit ticklish, but there's just something about it that is so satisfying to me. And so now to have the meaning behind it, and so now when I'm doing this, like knowing, where this is going in my body, or not going in my body, I guess would be the correct way of saying it.
Yeah, and your tongue has, your taste buds. It's papillae. We call our tongue scraper happy papillae, and the papillae are your taste buds. And so if you scrape that coating off, with that coating on, your taste buds can't do their job and actually give you the actual flavors in the foods that you're eating. So if you do that scraping, even in the morning, I tell people, if I can just get you to do it in the morning, you'll be hooked, and then you'll do it at night.
Mm-hmm.
But scraping that coating off your teeth is going to actually improve your taste of all the foods that you're eating anyway. So it will give you some pleasure there. But then it's going to help get rid of that bacteria that prevents that nitric oxide production. So it's just that it's making sure that your microbiome, it really comes down to the environment inside your mouth, the environment, getting rid of some of the processed foods and the heavily sugary foods. Of course, I'm not saying all the time. I'm saying, we have to be smart about things. And then our dental products are really a big problem because it's killing the good bacteria along with the bad.
Wow. And I wanted to ask too, thinking through some of the other things, another thing that's in there is the glowy mouth thing, the teeth whitener thing. And I noticed that I thought I seen previous videos that you did. So
Yeah.
I know. So that's what I wanted to ask. So there's blue light and there's red light on there. I've heard of red light, like red light therapy is a thing right now. Again, I'm seeing a lot of things come through on Instagram and stuff about it. Yeah, tell us, I want to know more about this thing.
Yeah. So I developed a really cool mouthpiece. So the blue light, red light, and then it has a setting for both light settings. So you get 16 red, 16 blue all at the same time. And my purpose behind this was white teeth signify health. They did it. There was a study that was done by employees or employers looking for employees. And what they did is they sent employees or candidates, half which had healthy, like white smiles, and the other half had bad teeth, or they had yellowing teeth, maybe not so pretty teeth, that kind of thing. And the ones that had the healthy mouth did not have as much experience as the ones that did not. The ones that had an unhealthy looking smile they were the top of the group. Like they had really good experience or went to the top colleges as far as their resume was showing. And so what they found was that the people that had the healthy smile, but not as much experience or as good of a resume, were the ones that were chosen for the job. When the employers were asked about this, why did you choose this person over those candidates? They basically said it's because their smile, like they can tell your mouth. If you have an unhealthy mouth, we don't even think about it, but instantly you judge people about not being healthy. And it's true. If you've got an unhealthy mouth, you are going to get sick more often. You're going to come down with the cold and the flu much more frequently. But not just that, you're going to be the one that ends up with heart disease and high blood pressure and diabetes and thyroid problems and sexual health problems, infertility, preterm labor, all those types of things. So it's a mental thing for people. We don't even realize that we're judging. So anyway, I wanted people to have a healthy smile. And I knew that the things that are on the market, even ones that have light therapy with them, or the light therapy that's done in the dentist's office, they use peroxide. And peroxide is damaging to the teeth and the gum tissue. And it's also damaging to the microbiome. So it's going to wipe out your nitric oxide production. And I wanted people to have a healthy smile, but I wanted it to be because their teeth were actually whiter and stronger, because peroxide doesn't work to actually strengthen your teeth. That actually pulls out the fluid from the layer inside your teeth. And what it does is it actually, because then it'll make it more opaque so that you don't see that dinginess, and it will weaken the structure of the tooth along with killing the healthy bacteria. So I wanted to actually rebuild the enamel. When you have strong, healthy, thick enamel, your teeth are white because enamel is white. And so some of the problem as we get older is that because of the products that we're using and the sugars in our diet and the acid in our mouth, our enamel is worn down so thin that you see that dentin layer beneath the enamel
Mm.
shine through. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to increase the thickness of the enamel. So my gel does that. My gel is created in the same fashion that my dental products are, my toothpaste and tooth powder. And it helps to alkalize and it helps to remineralize and remove surface stains from the tooth itself. But the light therapy is really cool because I'll go through red light. Most people understand red light for skin health or wound therapy because that's a lot of times what it's used for. Red light therapy increases blood flow, reduces inflammation, and increases collagen production. All of those things are extremely important for your skin health or wound therapy, but they're also the components of your gum tissue. And when we're talking about the gums, if you have any redness or bleeding or inflammation in your gum tissue, red light therapy is going to help speed up the process to heal the gum tissue, as opposed to continuing. And when you have that redness and bleeding, that is a gate that opens the gateway for disease to get inside the body because of the blood flow that's connected, that's inside the gums. So red light therapy is really for the gum tissue. Blue light is really cool. Harvard did a study, and blue light, the bacteria that causes the cavities and gum disease has this little piece in it. I always call it like a little heme molecule. And when that molecule is exposed to blue light, that it explodes and that kills the bacteria. So think about this being inside the mouth, exposing not just because light therapy penetrates the tissue, which is really nice. Not the blue light doesn't go super deep as the red, but blue light will penetrate a little bit. So it will get a little bit in between the teeth where it's hard to reach, but as inside your mouth, it's going to get all the tissues, not just your gum tissue, but your other tissues, your tongue. And wherever that bacteria is that's exposed to blue light, that piece will explode and it basically kills the bacteria instantly. And that bacteria is yellow. That's why plaque looks yellow. That's why teeth can look yellow on the outside. So by killing that bacteria, you're going to whiten the teeth specifically just by getting rid of the bacteria. So that's what the red and the blue light do inside the mouth. So the kit, and I think we got links for you. We can get you some links where your everybody can save like 60% off the teeth whitening kit, which is such a good deal. You get 20 treatments in it with it. And we tell people what we recommend is doing 5 treatments a week for 1 month. So you get the 1 month supply. And then after that, depending on your oral health, if you feel like things look good, you're happy with your teeth, you can back down to 2 or 3 treatments a week. I typically say eventually doing 1 to 2 treatments a week just to maintain it is really, once you get to that point is what you need. But this is like a lifestyle. It's not necessarily the quick fix, and it's not meant to be something that you put in your drawer and take out in 6 months when you feel your teeth getting yellow again. It's one of those things that you want to pop in, connect it to another habit that you do or something that you're doing, when you watch TV, just pop it in. Because this is really going to be a game changer. The dentists that I've worked with, the biological dentists that have used this product with their patients tend to see, they say they can tell the people that use it and the people that don't use it or don't have it, because they tend to heal. Their teeth look much better. Their gums heal so much faster than people that don't use it.
Yeah. I have a dentist appointment coming up in a few weeks. I'm like eager to start my stuff because I'm like, I'm going to impress the shit out of these people next time they see me.
And here's the key. Here's the funny thing. You would think like when you go to your dentist will be like, oh my gosh, your mouth looks so great. What are you doing? And applaud you. But sometimes what happens when you go to the dentist, because most dentists don't understand natural healing of the teeth. They don't understand what I do. So a lot of times what happens is you'll go to the dentist, you won't have any plaque buildup, like it'll be gone. Your gums are looking better. And the hygienist will be commenting and telling you how great everything looks. And the dentist will come in and say the same thing and then say, what are you using? And you tell them, I'm using this new product. It's like all natural and it uses clay and hydroxyapatite and, whatever you tell them. And they go, oh, you can't use that. It doesn't have fluoride in it. And they want you to switch back to the things that were causing, like, when your checkups weren't good. Oh no, you need to go back to using that. So I always tell people, be prepared for that, because the average dentist, and this isn't anything against dentists. I love the dentist. I just wish that they would understand that fluoride isn't the answer, and that the minerals that are naturally found in your teeth and alkaline solutions, not the chemicals, is the way to oral health and internal health. So I always like to let people know that your dentist may not agree with what you're using, but if you're getting the results that you want, then you need to make that choice yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And thank you for saying that. Cause I was thinking when you were speaking that this definitely falls more into what I would categorize more as like holistic oral care, right? Holistic, more preventative. And I feel like the other side of that is more, I guess, Western medicine or Western dental would be the way to describe it. But yeah, I think a lot of dentists are just stuck in their ways, stuck in, sort of the old school, same as primary care physicians, gynecology, like all doctors really. I've been noticing this, and personally, as I've been stepping into more preventative holistic options for myself, all of this falls right in line with that. And so I'm glad that you said that, prepare yourself, because I can't tell you how many times I've talked to doctors, or whether it's my own doctor or just other people that I've encountered in my business, like having these conversations, and and having to prepare myself to kind of rebuttal against what they're not agreeing with. And so yeah, that's I guess this is just another thing to add to the mix. But certainly, and I'm thinking through, conversation that I have often with people is around their self-care. And so incorporating these products, because I remember when I first received this, I thought, oh gosh, and when you asked me, have you started using it? I was like, no, I've really been like pausing on it. I've had some resistance to it because I wanted to make sure, if I did it, I was going to do it for the 30 days. And I knew I was traveling. I was like, am I really going to pack this stuff with me? All that. But to be able to, incorporate this with, let's say, like already the routine that I have with my skincare, my nighttime reading, this would be a time that I can incorporate this. And so I try to find ways that I can pass the time quicker when I'm doing things like this.
Yeah. The device itself is not waterproof, so I wouldn't recommend doing it anywhere, like in the tub there, it could fall, or in the shower.
Okay.
And the mouthpiece does have this removable silicone piece. So this is how you clean it. And this I would just wipe down with a dry cloth, slightly damp if you need to, but really this is the piece, because you don't want the water to technically get into the crack and then ruin the device. But this is, this comes off and then slides back on super easy. As far as like the dental detox kit goes, it's super easy. I always tell people, like, it's so easy because it literally replaces what you're currently using. And the powder, people get nervous about the powder, but it's so easy to use. So let me just demonstrate. In the kit, you will get, you get a bamboo toothbrush, and my toothbrush has black bristles because it's infused with charcoal. A lot of toothbrushes on the market have black bristles, but they're colored black. They're not really charcoal. And the charcoal helps to whiten the teeth, but also detox the teeth and gums a little bit better than just a standard toothbrush. And soft. You always want a soft bristled toothbrush, because the firmer the toothbrush, the more damage to the gum tissue, but also you can damage the enamel, especially if you have mineral loss. Those mineral loss, they end up being little holes or little pits in the teeth. I used to have, I don't know if anybody in their yard uses like the mineral lava rock. But if you pick up like a mineral lava rock, if you're ever in your neighborhood walking and someone has it, you can see that there's just tiny holes in the surface. And that's exactly what the surface of the enamel looks like when there's mineral loss. And when you have mineral loss, when your teeth have calcium and phos in it, but they also have manganese and magnesium and silica. When you lose a mineral, you have to replace it with the exact same mineral. So the problem with using fluoride is fluoride tries to go in there and wipe out all of your minerals and replace all of your minerals with fluoride, which is not healthy for your enamel and it's not healthy for your body. But calcium and phos are not the only thing. So a lot of products will put calcium and phos in them, but there's also magnesium and manganese. And in order for the calcium and phos to harden, you have to have magnesium. So it's a whole formulation thing, which is why when I developed this using clay, I use nanohydroxyapatite and clay, but it's a great formulation because the clay has every mineral that your teeth need or have in them. So when you open it, this is a larger size than you get in the detox kit. The detox kit looks like this. You get a morning and nighttime. So this is the morning It's a white formula. The nighttime has charcoal added to it. So it's the exact same formula. 3 clays, nanohydroxyapatite, baking soda, which makes it alkaline. That's what's really going to bust through the plaque or kill that bacteria. And then it also has essential oils. So the peppermint or spearmint, depending on flavor. But when you get yours, I usually just wet the toothbrush. I shake off the excess water so it's not dripping. You dip it right in. This one doesn't even have any water on it. And you can see when I dip it, how much there's a decent amount on there. I actually tap it, and that's all you need. You'll have a little bit more because it's wet. Your toothbrush will probably look about, maybe, let me see if I can dip it. Your toothbrush will probably look like this, but look, it's sitting on the top. It's not like that big mound. This is all you need because this doesn't have water. One of the main ingredients in almost all products is water. When you take out the water, you're left with stuff like this. And so you don't need much at all, which is why a container like this is going to last 3 to 4 months. So when you're looking at the price tag of some of the products that are natural, when they omit the water, the reason that they look so much tinier or they cost more is because they're giving you actually the ingredients that your body needs. So this is all you do. And then you just brush like you normally would. And then the gumdrops that comes in there, let me see if I have my gumdrops around me. They come in this little vial. And so it looks like this. It's just a little dropper bottle. I have a big bottle. This isn't gumdrops, but this is the drop. It's got a dropper bottle in it. The gumdrops are my replacement for mouthwash. So don't use mouthwash. If you use any other products or mouthwash with my system, you will not get the same results. I can guarantee that because most of the products aren't formulated correctly. And what I'm trying to do is reset that microbiome for that healthy nitric oxide production. So with the gumdrops, you just put, after you brush, you put 1 or 2 drops on your finger, sometimes 3, it depends on what you like. And you just rub it right on your teeth and gums on the inside and outside. And then I sometimes take 1 or 2 more drops and just wipe it all over the tissue. If you're someone that gets like canker sores or like lip sores, you can use that on some, like people that get those say, number 1, they heal very fast. And number 2, they get them less frequently when they start using gumdrops. The gumdrops are olive oil. So it's olive oil with about 11 essential oils, and the essential oils are supportive of your healthy bacteria, but will kill the bad bacteria. They increase blood flow and reduce inflammation. So that's going to help heal the tissues of the mouth. So you do that instead of mouthwash. It takes a couple seconds to just put it on. Some people will actually add a drop or 2 right to their tooth powder, their toothbrush, and brush with it. I like to just do it afterwards. And then you get the tongue scraper. So there's a whole protocol in here on how to use the products and what order I recommend using them in. But just remember, there's no wrong order. The better thing is that you do everything. So you floss, you scrape your tongue, and you brush, and you do the gumdrops. The order isn't as important as just doing it, but the flossing, I usually have people scrape their tongue first. That's going to get rid of that bacteria. In the morning, I always say breakfast, brush first. In the morning, you brush and then floss. At nighttime, you floss, then brush. And that's the only step that gets reversed morning and night. But again, you can do it either way. It's better to do it than not do it. And then the floss, we have floss picks that are made from cornstarch, so they're more eco-friendly. And it's a bamboo string with charcoal and a little bit of peppermint infused. And I always tell people what's really cool is if you put a drop of the gumdrops on your finger and then put the floss in it, then floss your teeth, the gumdrops is going to help as you're flossing in between get those nutrients and the the essential oils right there between your teeth. So that's also a good little tip for improving it. But it's easy to use. It replaces everything you have. So that's pretty easy. And the only thing that I might be adding to your routine is the tongue scraping, which might just add 3 to 5 seconds into your routine.
Well, this has been very enlightening. And I think the last piece that we can touch on this and how this relates to our overall sexual health and wellness is just your overall confidence. As you were saying, like when you have a good smile, when you feel good about your smile, you have more confidence. And that is one thing, again, in my work with women and with men, your how confident you're feeling in yourself, that has so much to do with how sex is going to go, or how intimacy is going to go for you in that time. So certainly, and I think, again, this is a great form of self-care, and people that in general are spending more time on their self-care and improving how they feel about themselves, that in turn, that reflects into all areas of your life, right? Friendships, relationships, career, intimacy, all the things. So thank you for this conversation today. I'm so glad to have you on. This was very, very interesting stuff. And now I'm eager. I'm getting started tomorrow. I'm doing it tomorrow.
Can I add one thing really quick?
Yeah,
you just made me think of something. So just remember, cavities and gum disease are contagious. So your partner, when you look at your partner, you probably should have them start this oral health program along with you, because believe it or not, if you're kissing someone who has, the wrong bacteria in their mouth, then you're going to be exposed to that with every time that you are intimate with them. The other piece of it is, especially with, during intercourse or oral sex or anything like that, if your mouth isn't healthy and you are exposed to, whether it's an oral disease or a sexual type of disease, you will be more susceptible to being, contracting. That is what I want to say, because if your mouth is healthy and your saliva is healthy, like it has nitric oxide, your saliva also has proteins in it that are antimicrobial and antiviral and antibacterial and antifungal, that truly you should be able to fight off most diseases inside the mouth with your saliva. So that's another key component of oral health, sexual health. And again, like you said, the confidence, being more confident in your body, starts with being confident with your smile. And that is a win-win no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely agree. So, well, thank you. Yes. And we'll definitely get links into the show notes for people that are wanting to check out these products, because again, I think it's a great, even if it's somebody that wants to give it a try for the 60-day detox that you offer. And I already have a feeling I'll be hooked after that. So yeah, thank you again, Trina, for coming on today. And is there a website or Instagram or anything that you want to share if people are interested in reaching out or following you?
My website is Primal Life Organics, but again, click through the show note links, because those are the ones that we offer special pricing. So they'll be able to get special pricing for both the kit as well as the LED. And just so everyone knows, it doesn't matter which one you click on initially, you'll get an offer for the opposite as well. So if you're looking to buy the dental detox kit, you will also get a good offer, the same offer for an LED if you want. So you don't have to do 2 checkouts, is why we do that. But on Instagram, I do a lot of good education. I've got great blog articles on my website, but also Instagram, we're Primal Life Org. Facebook, if you're a Facebook person, Primal Life Organics. And of course, we're on all the other platforms like TikTok and Pinterest and LinkedIn and all the others as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And certainly if you only do one thing, subscribe to their email list, because the emails that you send through are very, very helpful. Very educational too. So I enjoy receiving those. That's, it's always something that comes through. I'm like, oh, did not know this. Let me read into it.
Good. I'm glad to hear that. We try to keep everything I'm very big as a nurse. I'm so big on educating the consumer. That is my number one thing, because you can't make change happen permanently unless you're educated and can make educated decisions. So that I'm really big on education.
Yeah. Well, thank you again, Trina, for coming on. It was just such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you really fucking loved it, make sure to tag me on social media at @TheRachelMain. I'll see you next week.